This is the Morning Swim Show for Thursday, April 5th, 2012. I'm your host, Peter Bush. In the Finis Monitor today, we'll talk to Martin Grodzki. The University of Georgia Junior just broke the NCAA record in the 1650. Martin joins us right now in the Finis Monitor from Athens, Georgia. Hey, Martin, welcome to the Morning Swim Show. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Good. So I know you didn't win swimmer of the meet, but in my opinion, that was the swim of the meet. What did you think that record was vulnerable?
I mean, that was definitely my goal. Yeah. Prior to the season, when we have our little goals meeting, I was definitely planning on attacking that record. Of course, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it. And I mean, I was really happy being able to do so. But honestly, if I hadn't had Chad with me, there was absolutely no way I could have done it.
That's what I was just about to ask. You know, can you swim that fast without somebody pushing you a couple lanes over?
I mean, you can still swim pretty fast. I mean, at this level, everybody's used to swimming and racing, even if you don't have anybody to race. But it does make a little bit of a difference. And just when I started to get tired, I saw him pushing, and of course, it's an NCAA championship. You don't want to lose it, so you just try to stick with him. And maybe if he hadn't made the push, or if he hadn't been there at all, I might have still been able to win it, but not as fast as I ended up going.
Yeah, well, it's nice when somebody else kind of takes out the pace, too. I was there on the pool deck, and it seemed like he was pretty much in the lead the first half, and then it was about that 800, 900 mark, if my memory serves me, that you kind of made your move?
Yeah, I mean, I think I took it out a little bit quicker than him, and when I started to get tired, that was around the 700, 800 is when he started taking over, but it didn't last very long. I think he took over for only 300, maybe 400, and then at about, 1100, I think, that's when I started going again. I built a good enough lead, maybe a body length or so, and I mean, he came back again at the end, but I was just lucky to hold him off there.
Tell me what your race strategy was going into the race, and if you had to adjust it at all during the race.
I actually did have to adjust it. I mean, I watched the video afterwards, and the announcer actually mentioned that I was only breathing to Chad's side. After about a 300, I started breathing to Chad's side only, and that's actually how I swim my mile, and I've never seen anybody else do it, but the way I do it is I swim, for 25, I swim my 500 type of stroke, which is a much faster stroke for me, and then coming back 25, I swim a little longer and smoother stroke, which is also a little slower. And if you look at the splits, I'm about 2 or 3 tenths faster per 25 going my fast stroke. But I've always been able to catch up more on my fast stroke than I've been losing on my slower one. And this way it kind of recovered me a little bit, so I was able to hold a long and steady pace for a longer period of time instead of getting tired. Well, I realized my long stroke was getting too slow, and I wasn't able to catch Chad anymore on my faster one, so I had to change it to my 500 stroke completely, which I've never done before. But I realized that was my only chance at staying with him, and sure enough, it wore me out so much that he almost came back and beat me at the end. But ultimately, that was the right thing to do, and I think if I would started that at 50 earlier, or if the race would have been a 50 longer, I don't know if I would have been able to hold on.
Well, that's what made it so fun. It was a real back and forth, and it seemed like, okay, now you're pulling away, but then he made it interesting again at the end. But wait, did you say that you would change your stroke every single 25?
Correct. I would breathe to my left going one way, and then breathe to my right going the other way, because my 500 stroke, I only breathe to my right when I swim a 500, which is my fastest stroke I can swim. However, with that stroke, I don't have the energy to finish a whole 1500 or a mile swimming that same stroke. I would die at the end. So I made a couple adjustments to it, and actually it was just my freshman year at SECs was the first time I started doing it, and it worked out for me, and I did it ever since. However, at NCs, I realized my slow stroke wasn't fast enough to keep up with them anymore, so I had to change my technique a little bit again.
That's unique. Do you know anybody else who does that? I've never heard that before.
No, I mean, my coaches back home and stuff, they see me race like this, and they also ask me why am I doing this, because I've never seen anybody do it. But I just realized that it used to work out for me very well, and I did it all through my college career till up to this meet, and I started it doing the mile again, doing the stroke, but like I said, I realized I wasn't going to be able to stick with them, so I had to make a little adjustment, and worked out.
Well, we shouldn't overlook your 500, which you won as well in another great race. Overall, I mean, it was great meet for you. You've got to be real thrilled.
Absolutely. I mean, especially the 500. It's my favorite race to swim. Same as the 400 freestyle long course. And I mean, when I came out of high school, I wasn't really much of a miler. I was a 200, 500 guy, probably because they didn't have a mile in high school swimming. So I really enjoyed doing the 500. That was probably my best race coming out of high school. And I mean, the 500, I knew at about a 250 that I was going to win it, even though it ended up being really close at the end again. But I noticed nobody was willing to make the push that early, as early as I did. And I knew I have pretty decent speed coming home. And so I felt pretty confident with that. And after I won the 500, I was just so happy because my goal was to win one NCAA championship, and I knew the mile was just going to be fun from there on out. And from there on out, I could just, relax and no pressure anymore.
Okay, so you're from Germany. What is the Olympic selection process for Germany? Do you have a trials just like America, or can you make your cut at various points and qualify?
No, we have trials. My trials are actually the first week of May, so I'm already back training full-time again. And the way it works is you have to go top 2, and you have to make a certain standard. Most countries do the A standard cut, which in the mile I believe is 15:11. But Germany decided to make them a little bit faster because they only want to take people that can actually final at the Olympics. So instead of it being a 15:11, they bumped it down to a 15:05, and that's ultimately the time I have to go, and then go top 2 with that.
Whoa!
So it's gonna be tough, yeah.
I mean, I know Germans are strict, man, but come on.
Yeah, I mean, they have a point. I mean, over the past few years, they've always taken a bunch of swimmers that then ended up not doing too well at the big championship meet, and so they realized they just want to take people that actually have a shot of competing and maybe even going for a medal at the Olympics.
What's the news from back home on Paul Biederman? Is he in the kind of condition to win or to be on the medal stand, or are his best days behind him?
I mean, he's a world record holder. You can never count him out. I mean, a lot of people think he was very, very reliable on the suits, which was when he swam the best. But, I mean, he's still a world-class swimmer, and he's still going to be very, very tough to beat. And we'll just have to see. He's still in Germany. He's the clear favorite for the 400 freestyle. He's going to win that, qualify for the Olympics pretty easily. And then we just have to see what he does from there. I mean, he definitely has the talent to win it again this year.
The 400, you'll swim as well, I imagine.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a 4x200 freestyle relay that could be a contender? And would you be a part of it?
I definitely won't be a part of it. My 200 is not strong enough to be a part of it, but we definitely have a couple 200 guys that can go out there and put a pretty challenging relay out. It won't be for top 3, I don't think, but finaling is definitely a goal of Germany's, that's for sure.
You went to high school in the States, right?
For 2 years, yeah. I came over as a junior in high school and went to high school in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yeah, at the Baylor school, right?
Correct.
But they're mostly known for sprinters, not for, guys who are eventually going to break the NCAA record in the mile.
Well, I mean, I don't really think they're known for anything in particular, because I remember when I got there, the swimming team wasn't very great. But they got a new coach the year before I came there, Coach Dan Flack, who actually used to coach at the University of Georgia when our women's team won a national championship in '99, I believe. And he's really, I think, the greatest high school coach you could ask for. I mean, if you buy into his program, he's going to make you the best athlete you could possibly be. And when I came there, it was just the all-around guys that we had on the team is what made it so unique. And I think we had 7 guys go Division I my senior year. So we had very, very many talented kids. And I had a distance guy with me who definitely helped me through all the practice, who goes to Virginia now. I had a couple other people with me. So, I mean, I don't think we're known for anything, but it's just a great high school program, that's for sure.
So is that connection how you ended up at Georgia, you think?
It probably had something to do with it, because I wasn't really planning on staying in the U.S. for college. I was only going to do an exchange here and then go back to Germany. But since I dropped a bunch of time and I liked it a lot over here, I figured if I want to make the Olympic team, my best shot would probably be staying over here and going to college somewhere in the U.S. And since I really did not know a whole lot about colleges since I was new to the U.S. at that point, I definitely consulted him and I asked him, what do you think would be a good option for me? and he named a couple of colleges, and he said he really thinks that Georgia would be a good place for me. And I took a recruiting trip here, and I liked it so much that I committed on my trip, basically, and I've never looked back since.
What do you study?
Psychology. I'm trying to stay with the sport a little bit and be a sports psychologist.
Very cool. Well, Martin, it was a lot of fun watching you swim this year in college. Good luck this summer. Well, good luck in May, first of all, and then hopefully good luck in London.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's Martin Grodzki joining us in the Finis Monitor today from Athens, Georgia. And that's it for today's show. I'm Peter Bush, reminding you to keep your head down at the finish.